The truth is our priority. We give justice to your curiosity. Just in, for the past 6 days alone, the number of new COVID-19 cases had dropped drastically from 11,094 to 1,242. Scientists say that this is due to the recent implementation of mass vaccination that has significantly impacted the number of new COVID-19 cases in our country. The Department of Health permitted individuals aged 12 to 17 to get the COVID-19 vaccination. They also warned people not to take any other medications before getting the immunization. They produced a list of negative effects or side effects that patients who receive the vaccine might experience, such as headaches and fatigue. This is the second year that Undas will be commemorated in the country with bans due to COVID-19. The people were expected to flock on the last day the cemetery was open. Sellers of flowers and candles lacked sales. Since it was closed on the exact day of the holiday, family members still showed their love for the deceased by visiting the cemetery earlier. Government sectors enforces officers in public establishments as early as September to enforce public health and safety regulations among consumers. They also restrict travel in and out of Metro Manila. Regardless of the strict rules, Filipinos still find the Christmas spirit within them. Join Katok Hannah and her valued guest as they examine the 4 types of genetic abnormalities as well as genetic services programs available, especially at this time of pandemic. There are 4 non-degenerate conics, namely circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola. Iconature Phoebe will explain how these conics are related to our environment by solving their equivalent formula and proving them along with the graphs and its coordinates. Solid and liquid waste are still the most abundant type of waste that are being produced by our society. Because of this, it poses great threat to the existence of life on Earth. Experts say that promoting zero waste and proper waste management is our biggest chance to solve this problem. Latest news spotted only here on Aristotell News, giving you the latest and most credible news for today. Live from Manila, Philippines, this is Aristotell News.
On top of hot blazing news, Vice President Danny Robredo is puzzled by the insinuations that the opposition is behind Bongbong Marcos's disqualification case, saying that they should have filed that way back in 2016 when they competed for vice presidency. Nathan Barcelona joins us now for more details on this report.
Rodrigo claims that filing a disqualification case against Marcos for their upcoming presidential campaign in 2022 is unnecessary, since she defeated him in 2016 without such measures. Rodrigo declines to comment on the disqualification case against the son of the late dictator and former president Ferdinand Marcos, as she prefers to focus on pressing concerns like the COVID-19 response. Last Tuesday, a petition was filed before the COMELEC urging the poll body to cancel Marcos' certificate of candidacy for president, citing his conviction in 1995 by the Quezon City Regional Trial Court for failure to file income tax returns. According to former Supreme Court spokesperson and lawyer Gabriella T, who helped the petitioners file the case, Marcos COC has multiple false material representation, as he did not state that he got a final conviction for a tax evasion case.
The Health Department supports the enactment of mandatory COVID-19 vaccination for selected sectors to alleviate vaccine hesitancy. Another visible solution is a 3-day national COVID-19 vaccination day where up to 1 million per day are targeted to be vaccinated. Here is an update report from Hannah Lacanlali for more information.
Vaccine supply is no longer the government's perceived obstacle to achieving population protection against COVID-19, if not the hesitancy of other parts of the sector. It is said that the common people who do not want to get vaccinated are afraid, do not believe in the effectiveness of the vaccine, and others are waiting for the brand they want. Hence, the last card of the government is the mandatory vaccination for vulnerable sector and frontline workers. But because of the COVID-19 Vaccination Program Act of 2021, the vaccination card cannot be made a mandatory requirement in school, employment, or government transactions, so a new legislation must be enacted. However, according to a SWS survey conducted in September 2021, there are 66% more Filipinos interested in getting the vaccination than there were in June 2021, when just 55% of the responders affirmed.
because all the cemeteries in the country were closed from October 29 to November 2 of this year. It was a heartbreaking time for everyone who has lost their loved ones. However, Interior Secretary Eduardo Año said last Wednesday that he wants to reduce the risk of COVID-19 spread during all schools day, ensuring rules for the celebration of this year's undas. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, Filipinos are recognized across the world for their firm beliefs. They express their faith by commemorating many festivals throughout the year, one of which we also today. Despite of the fact that the cemeteries were closed, they buried their loved ones visit before the holiday by expressing their affections.
It has been 2 months since the bear month started and we can already feel the Christmas spirit. September 1st opens the 4-month season of festivities amidst a cooler temperature for this tropical country, albeit also a season of typhoons and floods. As the Christmas season approaches, the night grows longer than the day, allowing Filipinos to partake in more nocturnal activities such as partying, drinking, and karaoke sessions that they did prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. The ongoing public health crisis brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic will undoubtedly dampen the usual splendor of the bear months. But the ongoing PH-wide mass vaccination and adherence to health protocols, as well as the fact that Filipinos are still aware that September 1 has arrived, assures everyone that the bear months have indeed arrived, bringing hope and good tidings for the country.
Once again, there are several things we need to remember and grasp in the event of this pandemic. First off, more officers were deployed in Metro Manila malls and shopping centers as early as September to enforce public health and safety regulations among consumers. Long weekends are ideal for out-of-town getaways and staycations during the winter month. Unfortunately, because of travel restrictions, in some places with high number of COVID cases, tourism is a hard-hit sector during the epidemic.
An annual family reunion where you can eat and exchange gifts with your loved ones is an important part of Filipino culture during the Christmas season. Regrettably, in the event of a pandemic, this tradition will be given a computerized facelift. Virtual Christmas parties and reunions will be more feasible, especially for families who live in different parts of the country and are subject to differing levels of quarantine. Reporting live, we have Jaryl Alajar with us today to provide additional information regarding those who have been infected with COVID-19 today.
Good day, Jenny. As of today, 1,242 new COVID-19 cases were reported. Now, even if it is slightly more than the cases yesterday, it is still a big decline of new cases overall. This is a probable effect of the mass vaccination throughout the country. Based on the 7-day graph of new cases of COVID-19 in the Philippines, we could clearly see the rapid rate of decline. For us to be able to find the rate of decline, we would subtract 1 from the ratio of the new cases of the current day to the new cases 6 days ago, which would be 1 minus 1,242 over 11,049 equals 0.89. Therefore, the drop rate of the new COVID-19 cases within this week is 89%. Once again, this is Jaryl Alajar from Aristotell News.
Teenagers might be able to go out and meet their friends soon after some time. But wait, most of us were stuck at home so we didn't have any chance to do outdoor activities. I'm your daily katok, Phoebe Pascual, and today I'm with fitness instructor Christian Orate to help us learn the understanding of fitness and exercise in optimizing one's health. What advice do you offer for our viewers who want to learn more about fitness and exercise in order to improve their health?
As we all know, we were stuck in our homes when the pandemic started. Regular exercise is one of the best things you can do for your health. It has many benefits, including improving your overall health and fitness, and reducing your risk for many chronic diseases. A good and fit lifestyle offers a wide array of benefits as it can manage your weight better. Also, that there are many different types of exercises. Remember that it is important to pick the right types for you. Flexibility exercises stretch your muscles and can help your body stay limber. Endurance or aerobic activities increases your breathing and heart rate. They keep your heart, lungs, and circulatory system healthy and improve your overall fitness. Strength training has been shown to reduce symptoms of anxiety for individuals with and without an anxiety disorder. Weightlifting using exercise equipment or household items may help us to reduce negative effects of stress and anxiety. There is also evidence that suggests that exercise can be helpful to lift our mood even if the act of exercising is not enjoyable.
Thank you for your wonderful advice, Mr. Christian. Those are truly helpful for people wanting to be healthy and fit amidst the pandemic. Well, that's all for today mga katok. Now, back to you, Vince.
Ang mundo ay nasa gitna ng pandemic ng COVID-19 habang nagtutulungan ang Department of Health at ang mga kasosyo sa pagtugon at pagsubaybay sa pandemya, pagpapaya ng mga critical na intervention at pamamahali ng mga mahalagang supply ng medikal sa mga nangangailangan. Sila ay nakapagkarera upang ma-deploy ng ligtas at epektibo ang bakuna sa iba't ibang parte ng bansa. Narito si Dr. Karaan upang magpahayag ng mahalagang impormasyon tungkol sa COVID-19 vaccines.
Maraming salamat sa pag-imbita sa akin. Ang mga bakuna ay magliligtas ng milyon-milyong buhay bawat taon. Gumagana ang mga bakuna sa pamamagitan ng pagsasanay at paghahanda ng mga natural na panlaban ng katawan, ang immune system. Pagkatapos ng pagbabakuna, kung ang katawan ay nalantad sa mga mikrobyo na nagdudulot ng sakit, ang katawan ay agad na handang sirain ang mga ito at maiiwasan ang pagkakasakit. Ang mga inaprubahan na bakuna para sa COVID-19 ay nagbibigay ng mataas na antas ng proteksyon laban sa pagkakaroon ng malubhang karamdaman at pagkamatay mula sa sakit. Bagamat walang bakuna na 100% na nagpoprotekta.
Dr. Karan, ano po ang inyong may papayo para sa mga nagpaplano magpabakuna sa mga susunod na araw?
Inirekomenda na manatili muna sa lugar kung saan sila nabakunahan ng hindi bababa sa 15 minuto upang makaresponde agad ang ating mga healthcare workers sakaling magkaroon sila ng hindi pangkaraniwang reaksyon sa bakuna. Makipag-ugnayan sa inyong tagapagbigay ng pangangalaga kung may pamumula o pananakit kung saan ka nakakuha ng injection pagkatapos ng 24 na oras o kung hindi nawawala ang mga side effects pagkatapos ng ilang araw. Ang pag-inom ng painkillers tulad ng paracetamol bago tumanggap ng bakuna sa COVID-19 upang maiwasan ang mga side effects ay hindi nirerekomenda. Ito ay dahil hindi tayo sigurado sa kung ano man ang magiging reaksyon ng vaccine sa painkillers. Gayunpaman, maaari kang uminom ng paracetamol o iba pang pampawala ng sakit kung makakaranas ka man ng mga side effects tulad ng pananakit, lagnat, sakit ng ulo o pananakit ng kalamnan pagkatapos ng pagbabakuna. Kahit ikaw ay nabakunahan na, patuloy na mag-ingat at sumunod sa mga precautions na ipinatupad ng ating gobyerno. Bagamat maiiwasan ng isang bakuna sa COVID-19 ng malubhang sakit at kamatayan, hindi nito sinisigurado ang hindi pagkakahawaan at pagpapasahan ng virus sa mga nakakasalamuhan natin.
Marami pong salamat, Dr. Karan. Muli na naman kaming nabahagian ng importanteng impormasyon tungkol sa bakuna laban sa COVID-19. Naway, naikayat ito ang sambayanan upang magpabakuna na para sa ikabubuti ng ating bayan. Dumako naman tayo ngayon kay Katok Hana, kung saan bibigyang pansin ang mga genetic disorders at kung ano na nga ba ang balita para sa kanila ngayong pandemya.
Good day mga Katoks! This is Katok Hana and welcome to another episode of Doc Talkan Tayo. Today we have Ms. Nacario and Ms. Bas, well-known geneticists in their field, to explain to us about the genetic disorders and programs that our government has established to help the people with genetic disorders.
Hello everyone. Genetic disorder is a disease that is caused by a change or mutation in an individual's DNA sequence. A genetic disorder is an illness caused by changes in a person's DNA. First is the Mendelian disorder. These disorders occur due to mutation in a single gene. These disorders can be autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, sex-linked dominant, sex-linked recessive, and mitochondrial. The most common Mendelian disorders are cystic fibrosis, hemophilia, albinism, sickle cell anemia. The second is chromosomal disorder. These disorders are caused by any alteration in the number or structure of the chromosomes. This type of disorders is usually fatal, affects many genes. One of the major abnormalities are Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, and Klinefelter syndrome. The third is mitochondrial inheritance. It is a type of genetic disorder that is caused by a mutation in the non-nuclear mitochondrial DNA. Each mitochondrion has 5 to 10 pieces of DNA. The mitochondria is inherited from the mother. Some of the diseases caused by due to mitochondrial inheritance are Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy or LHON, clonic epilepsy with Grange red fibers, mitochondrial encephalopathy, and lactic acidosis. Multifactorial genetic inheritance, also known as polygenic inheritance. These are caused as a result of environmental factors and gene mutation. Some of the examples of this kind of disorder are heart disease, high blood pressure, Alzheimer's disease, obesity, diabetes, cancer, and arthritis.
Watching this talk show is definitely much more easier than listening to my teacher. I did understand some parts of it. I didn't really get the whole lesson. I'm really grateful that this talk show is currently covering our lesson in class.
I'll just add some of the most common characteristics that you might notice in a person with a genetic disorder. Ear abnormalities, unusual shaped eyes, different colored eyes, brittle or sparse hair, excessive body hair, white patches of hair, large or small tongue, and many more. In assessing genetic services, people with genetic disorders usually have trouble getting treated because most families cannot afford out-of-pocket expenses for genetic testing and treatment.
Are there any institutions and programs by the government that were made specifically to help them?
Yes, they are. Biochemical genetic, a specialized laboratory that renders services for the diagnosis and clinical management of inborn errors of metabolism, IEM. Another one is clinical genetic and research, which provides comprehensive clinical evaluation, appropriate therapeutic management, and genetic counseling services to families or individuals. We also have a hemoglobinopathy reference unit, a newborn screening for hemoglobinopathies that use two machines, high-performance liquid chromatography HPLC for the initial screening, and capillary electrophoresis CE for the confirmation.
Additionally, a microarray core laboratory which uses a technique, microarray, that detects multiple target sequences in an organism's genome. The other one is the molecular genetics unit, primarily engaged in research that aims to study the basis of common genetic diseases. These units also offer services that will aid health researchers in their studies. They also offer patient services for the screening and diagnosis of particular diseases. And lastly, Newborn Screening Center NIH is the first Department of Health accredited newborn screening facility in the country that provides the most advanced newborn screening test.
Especially at this time of pandemic, people with the genetic disorders are one of the top priorities for getting the vaccination. We have priority groups to which they fall on the 8-year section. People with comorbidities of the priority population group to vaccinate.
Well, thank you so much for coming here today and sharing your knowledge about genetic disorders. Once again, I'm Katok Hannah, and this is Doktokan Tayo.
Plastic, which is now found in land and water, and takes years, if not millennia, to decompose, is one of the pollutants that humans release into the environment. Plastic bottles and cups are one of the most prominent types of plastic garbage found all over the world. That is how our organization came to be. The purpose of Stealth Earth is to gather plastic bottles and cups from various non-profit organizations that collect garbage from landfills and bodies of water. And we'd employ these plastics as our primary materials in variety of things, such as clothes and shoes. The process starts from the sterilization of the bottles that came from landfills and bodies of water. After this, we would cut these bottles up into thin strings of plastics. By reducing the plastic bottles into thin threads of plastics, we would be able to use it like as if it is a string, so that we are able to make clothes and shoes. Currently, our company had already used and recycled approximately 50 tons of plastic, and as of now, we are planning to branch out to other types of plastics, like cigarette butts, which is currently the most abundant type of plastic waste, making up 32% of all plastic waste. But our most important purpose is to disseminate the message that being able to recycle plastic, even in smaller volumes, is beneficial not only to ourselves but also to the environment. Please continue to visit us and donate your leftover waste to help us build a better Earth.
And we are back. Waste management is a major problem that our country is currently facing. And with the rapid growth rate of our population, this also directly affects the waste that we make. Joining us today is June Pinlac to further explain this phenomena and teach us to help fix and lessen the waste that we put out to our environment.
With our growing community's alarming rise in garbage creation in recent years, we are slowly beginning to feel the effects of our activities. Increased disease risk, widespread pollution of land, water and air, and the rapid extinction of plant and animal life are just a few of the issues we are facing that we should all strive to address in order to maintain life on our planet. These are ways most common and concerning that we are continuously using to litter and endanger our planet, namely solid waste. Solid rubbish includes a large variety of items that may be found in households or commercial locations. This includes plastics, paper, metals, glass, and many more. Liquid waste. Liquid waste includes dirty water, wash water, organic liquids, waste detergents, and sometimes rainwater. This waste is usually found in households, businesses, and industries. Organic waste. These wastes are typically biodegradable and are produced by most households. This includes food waste, garden waste, dead organism, and so on. Hazardous waste. Toxic, flammable, corrosive, or reactive waste. It's classified as hazard waste. Both you and the environment may be harmed by such waste. Toxic chemicals and electronic trash are examples of hazardous waste, but there is still a way for us to lessen the waste that we produce. And it is to educate people waste management and promote the idea of living life as a zero waste person so that we may be able to live in a world where pollution is an issue of the past. During the current COVID-19 outbreak, healthcare waste has skyrocketed. Waste created by healthcare facilities, medical labs, and biomedical research institute is classified as healthcare waste by exposing garbage pickers, waste workers, health professionals, patients, and the general public to infectious pathogens. Improper waste management offers a major danger of disease transmission. Poor waste management releases hazardous and detrimental substances into the environment. Proper healthcare waste management may indeed aid in the recycling of trash or the conversion of waste into useful items, such as energy. As a result, good healthcare waste management may bring value to national economies. Allowing for long-term growth, it will also aid in the reduction of COVID-19 virus spread.
Good day, iconic natures! It is I, Phoebe. Today is the perfect day to understand more about conic sections that can be found in our beloved nature. Isn't it exciting? Let's solve and visualize conic sections in nature. First, a ripple of water represents a conic section circle with a radius of 15 centimeters. The center will be where the droplets of water land. To find the standard equation, we will use the formula quantity x minus h squared plus quantity y minus k squared, assuming that the center is at the origin. The radius of the circle is 15 and the center is at 0, 0. By substituting the given, we will arrive at a standard form x squared plus y squared equals 225. As you can see, there is a graph here and it is a perfect circle. Second, a man that is 5 feet tall is standing below the rainbow that is 30 feet from the ground. The vertex is at 0, 30 and the focus is at 0, 5. To get the standard form, we will use the solution quantity x minus h squared equals 4 times quantity y minus k. Quantity x minus 0 squared equals 4 times negative 25 times quantity y minus 30. X squared equals negative 100 times quantity y minus 30. To solve for the c, we will use quantity h, k plus p, quantity 0, 30 plus p, 30 plus p is equals to 5. P equals 5 minus 30 will be negative 25. For the latus rectum endpoints, we will use the solution 0, negative 50, 5, 0, positive 50, 5, negative 50, 5, 50, and 5. The AOS x equals 0. The directrix will be y equals k minus p. Y equals 30 plus 25. It will be y equals 55. Behind me is a graph that shows a parabola. Third, an elliptical lake is 500 miles long and 300 miles wide. Since the elliptical is 500 miles long and 300 miles wide, then A is 250 and B is 150. Its vertices will be 0, positive, negative 250 to 0, negative 250 and 0 to 150. The major endpoints is 0, positive, negative 150, 0 to negative 150, 0, 150, 0. Its foci will be 0, 0, positive, negative 200, 0, negative 200, and 0, 200. And next we will use the equation b squared equals a squared minus c squared, quantity 150 squared equals quantity 250 squared minus c squared will be 62,500 minus 22,500. And finally, the c will only be 200. And behind me is an ellipse graph that shows that A is 250 and B is 150. Its center is 0, 0. And last but not least, the hyperbola. The distance between the two mountains from each of its half is 80 miles. The distance where the two mountains meet and to its reflection is 10 miles. Its foci will be 0, 0, positive negative 40.31 will be 0, negative 40.31 and 0, 40.31. Vertices will be 0, 0, positive negative 5 to 0, negative 5 and 0, 5. Transverse axis will be 2 times 5 equals 10. Conjugate axis will be 2 times 40 equals 80. Its asymptote will be y equals positive negative 5 over 40 times x minus 0 plus 0. Then it will become y equals positive negative 1 over 8x. Its center is 0, 0. The a will be 5 and the b will be 40. For the c, we will use c squared equals a squared plus b squared. C squared equals 25 plus 1,600. C squared equals 1,625 to its c 40.31. To find the final answer, we will use quantity y minus 0 squared over quantity 5 squared minus quantity x minus 0 squared over quantity 40 squared equals 1. Therefore, the answer here will be y squared over 25 minus x squared over 1,600 equals 1. And there we have it, the conic sections. That ends today's discussion. Once again, I am Phoebe Pascual, your icon nature, and this is Iconic Nature. Back to you, Vince and Jenny.
And that's all for today's time-sizzling news. I'm Jenny L. Sindingan. We do not just secure the freedom, we defend what people deserve. You can contact us through these numbers flashed on your screen. Share your feedback and make us aware of the hot news you have.
Be updated on the latest news by subscribing to Aristotell News YouTube channel. You can also follow us on our Facebook page, Aristotell News. On top of our hot blazing news, this is your news anchor, Vinz C, reporting live on the Aristotell Studio, Manila. Have a good day, Philippines!